Hello, Maverick fans! Welcome to another edition of the Mavpuckcast with Jason.
And John.
As always, thank you for tuning in and listening to us here on our episode 22.
Episode 22.
Feel like even numbers?
Yeah, we're all about even numbers.
I'm more of an odd guy.
Yes.
I am kind of an odd guy. So it works on many levels. All right, we drink stuff here, so let's get started with what we're drinking. John, you've got something pretty in pink there.
Yeah, I do. This is Cinnamon Red Hot Soda by Boots Beverages.
Boots as in like footwear boots?
Yeah, like cowboy boot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got this last week at the Hy-Vee at 180th. After we recorded the podcast, the Hy-Vee at 180th and Pacific.
Yeah.
So,
I must say, as two marketing guys, I'm not so sure naming a drink company a boot is a good idea.
So I told your wife before the show, I said, I wonder if it tastes like those hot tamales candies.
Okay.
And it does.
Does it really?
It's like liquid hot tamale candy.
I really thought you were going to say, does it taste like a shoe? But
it does not taste like a cowboy boot, but that sounds like something I would have said. Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny. Tastes like old leather and... Better than that. All right.
Yes.
So the story behind mine...
Okay.
I know someone who works at New Belgium, and I was talking to them about the podcast, and may have given him the wrong impression about wrapping up the season and celebrating the end of the season, which is mostly just celebrating the end of the season, not the end of a season. And he mentioned champagne, and I'm like, well, that's a great idea. I don't know if I can get John to drink champagne. So he sent me this stuff called Brut IPA, or Brew IPA, I guess, if you're French or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently it's like an IPA meets champagne.
Okay.
Well, which is kind of an interesting concept.
I'm
a little afraid that when I open this, it's going to like explode and pop out at me.
Yeah,
something else. So.
Yeah.
If this is the end of the podcast and you're still listening to this, I'd like to know who put it out on the internet.
This is the end.
Oh, it didn't explode, so that's good.
Well, that's good.
Now we'll see if it's any good.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like a normal IPA.
Okay.
But it like fizzes on your tongue. It's like...
Oh, so it is like it's got
weird.
the bubbles like champagne.
Yeah, I don't see it fizzing, but it does taste kind of like like fizzy like stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it's different.
Okay,
like us.
So we're here at episode 22, and you're thinking to yourself, Jason, you remember you were so enthusiastic about doing this podcast. Like, you kept texting me like, John, are we doing the podcast? And I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. We're going to do the podcast. And I think then you were like...
There were times I didn't think we were serious about this.
You didn't think we were going to do it. I know. And now, see, I'm in the mindset where I'm worried after this...
disaster of a season.
Never-ending season that you're going to be like, oh, man, that was a lot of work. The weather, we had a snowstorm literally every Sunday in the second half while doing this. I'm always worried you're going to be like, oh, fall's going to roll around. You're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I don't know if us starting the podcast caused the sad season for the Mavericks, or us starting the podcast started this crazy weather with floods and...
Yes, it unleashed the wrath of God on Omaha and on the hockey team. We have, flooding. We'll probably have plagues of locusts this summer, and the team only won 9 games.
There was one point that my wife had said, I'm not so sure I can allow the two of you guys to be in a room with our perplexity for Apple products and, a lot of the things that we have.
Yeah.
Like a similar interest in.
Yeah, the shared interest in technology.
Yeah, she wasn't sure about putting us together. So maybe God had the same idea. And was these two guys, they won't give it up. Don't they get the message?
But you know what? We fought through. We fought through it. Yeah, this was...
And not unlike our Mavs. I will say, as sad as this season was, I want to start by saying that I was extremely impressed, particularly with our seniors and their ability to keep this team together through a very down year. I think their expectations for where they'd end up was higher. I know a lot of the pundits and us included kind of thought they'd be where they are, but they really seem to kind of fight through it and want to put in the work and the effort, and they could just easily given up.
The team definitely kept it respectable this season, and I think that, in my humble opinion, that was probably the best aspect of the season was they kept it.
Yeah,
they kept fighting because it could have. You remember back in October, it could have. I mean, it could have just fallen. I mean, there was a point where we were wondering if they were going to win a game.
Yeah.
So they won 9 games.
Yeah, and first round of the playoffs, and it's a 2-7 matchup, and I really thought we had it. Conley ties it up on Friday night.
We had the momentum
in the last
going our
minute,
way.
And I'm thinking that is all. Like, I was so excited for that, and then I'm like, we've got this. Like, we're going to come out hot in the overtime. And
that does not happen very often when you pull your goaltender, and then you get the equalizer.
Statistically speaking,
it doesn't happen very often. Yeah, and so we got it, and I was amazed, and I thought, this is, if we could just win this one. That puts you in a really good position in those 3-game series.
I just remember. I think that was the first time this season that UNO at least had pulled their goaltender
and gotten.
Scored.
I think it could be
outside of maybe. It's hard to remember this because it used to be that it nullified the penalty, but you'd pull your goalie when you had a delayed call,
right?
And you get an extra attacker out there, and we may have scored some of those because now with NCAA rules. And NCHC rules that
it's been a while. I can't remember the last time that has happened for UNO. Can you in recent years? I can't. It's been I say that now. It probably just happened last season.
We probably just forgot about them.
I don't know, and I'm sure that the people listening will
they'll correct us.
They'll tweet at us, and Jason will just be like, "Forget it. We just want to go." Hit buckets of golf balls at the driving range on Sunday. That's what
or maybe we'll just sit here and say, you know what, we need fan engagement, so maybe we're just acting like idiots to get you to tweet us. So
maybe, hey, you know what?
Who knows?
We know that they're listening that way. I mean,
good point.
In last week's episode, we mistakenly thought for half the episode that Denver was playing CC this week in the NCHC playoffs, and North Dakota and Western were playing, and that would have worked out better for everybody involved if North Dakota and Western and Denver and CC had played, because the travel schedule was just a gigantic mess.
Yeah, we wouldn't end up with game 2 tonight on a Sunday, and possibly game 3 on a Monday.
Yeah, that's the first time that's happened in the NCHC.
The only NCHC play, if you're out there watching, is or listening. If you missed it on Sunday, and if Western Michigan beats CC, you'll have another game on Monday night to catch.
Yes, you will. That's a intriguing series. Regardless of what happens, the Colorado College goes in there and wins.
Yeah. How they handled the travel, and then of course all the travel was with North Dakota getting to Denver to play DU.
Right, and then
getting swept out.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
kind of okay with. Covered. I came from there, so.
And
we were talking about next round to get on that a little bit. We know 3 of the 4 teams in. If Colorado College manages to get away, that would be St. Cloud and Colorado College, Duluth and Denver, and that's the more exciting of the scenarios for me right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm assuming, are we doing the seating right? Because I'm going to hear about it on Tuesday. We're doing it right, aren't we, Jason? I don't know anymore.
Yes.
We're at this one.
Colorado College would be the lowest seed in the next round.
So they'll play. So they reseed then.
They do reseed.
Okay.
So we don't know who's playing who because of that.
See, that would definitely be a more intriguing slate of games for the NCHC Frozen Face-Off, in my opinion.
But if Western Michigan wins 2 in a row to pull it off, then you've got St. Cloud versus Denver, a 1-4. Then you've got the most boring thing impossible because it's the 4 top teams that make it through. So you get St. Cloud and Denver, and then you get the 2-3 match of Duluth and Western.
Right.
I want a surprise. Even if it has to be Cara College, I want a surprise.
I'd like a surprise.
And I just think St. Cloud and Cara College played a really interesting game towards the end of the season.
That series up there in St. Cloud between CC and St. Cloud. I'm being redundant now. That was a really intriguing, and I'll tell you what, Colorado College very nearly came out with almost 2 wins. I mean, it was so in the third. I think they were leading in both of those games, or tied in one and leading in the Saturday game, and so they played really, really well up there. So, and that's a good team that they were playing. So
you said it was intriguing, right?
It was intriguing.
It's not interesting.
No, everything just by default's interesting. I got to make sure that I throw in that reference for the people playing the drinking game out there. I have no idea where we're going with this podcast. We're 10 minutes in now. It's just like meandering so bad.
Start rambling.
We were doing so well. We were on the ball. We were so ambitious with this podcast. And Jolene was like, man, you guys are sounding like you're out of it. It's so hard. I cannot tell you how hard. You have a college hockey team which plays a minimum of 36 games during a season.
Right.
And we only won 9 of those games. And it was.
But we were in a lot of them.
We were.
I mean, we only won a few, but I mean, they played, like I said, they played well. I was really impressed with the competition level. I think early on in the season, there was a lot of feeling it out and finding ourselves. Yeah. But this second half of the season, getting to NCHC play, the games in Denver, we lost, but man, they put in such a good effort out there. Yeah. They were so close to getting a win here when Denver came here. Yep. And those are games I remember, at least from this season.
I think so too.
The Arizona State games, I remember getting shellacked in Arizona State.
We get shellacked out there, and we're feeling. I mean, we're just like we're
kind of worried about them coming here.
What the hell's going on? And then they come here, and we sweep those guys, and that was big after Thanksgiving to do that.
Yeah,
that was a big series, and so yeah, they played. I thought they played well in Duluth this weekend. If they could have gotten that overtime win on Friday, that would have completely changed the. Who knows what that would have done?
Yeah. I mean, at that point in time, Duluth has to modify their.
Yep.
They have to play a little tighter, and you never know when the bounces go your way or something. But
and UNO got the first goal on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if that had been a situation where UNO had won on Friday and they get the first goal on Saturday,
So what do you? Goal on Saturday?
Did we get? I thought we got the. I don't know. Here we go again.
All right, we're gonna look that one up.
We just need a break, people.
We did. Ward from Morelli and Olf. The low line, of course. Why not?
Yeah, it was arguably, and I don't even think I'd say arguably, our best freshman this season has been Taylor Ward, and he got that first goal. So that was the thing. If we'd had that circumstance where we went on Friday, we get the first goal on Saturday, who knows what happens at that point?
Yeah, but unfortunately we didn't get that.
No, we did not get that. So
here we sit.
So here we sit.
Out of the tournament, season's over. No chance at a Frozen Four bid.
No.
So
it was a tough. The season was a tough one. It was. I would imagine it was tough on the players, tough on the coaches. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season. I hope that things go better for them next season. Because here's the thing, I may not know everything about the inner workings of the team, but I do know this fan base. And I can tell you that if we have another season like this with this, the fan base will just implode. It'll be brutal on social media, on the internet, everything else next year. If it goes like this next year. I'm hopeful it won't. You're hopeful it won't. But we'll have to see.
We'll see. A lot of that's going to depend on some of the future bowls we've talked about. Some of these recruits coming in, how they perform, and how well they can adapt and take that step to that next level.
Yeah.
The leadership is an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye out for. I know.
Yeah.
I know people have talked about Leahy had said. And I don't remember who's he do the Maverick mailbox with.
Dave Allers.
Allers.
Yeah.
So they had mentioned in one of their segments about like Jones and he'd be one to kind of look to. We hear at least that Claire's coming back.
Yeah.
Getting a med shirt this year, so he'll be back. So does he take a leadership role? I was really impressed this year with Conley, and I know that he was high on the list of potential captains for DU. So I wonder if maybe
he could end up being a captain next year.
Captain for Omaha here.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that comes from. The leadership, I think, will really matter next year with a lot of
Taylor
young
Ward
players.
might be a candidate for.
Yeah,
I know he's young, but he potentially,
I mean, the question's always going to be, what is he in the locker room? Like, is he the guy that the other guys kind of look towards it, or sometimes goal scorers you need to let them focus on their skill set and their talents, and not on everything that it takes to be.
And that was
captain.
the thing, Scott Parse, when he came back for his senior year, was captain of the team, and he was seemed like kind of a quiet guy. He was the guy who, got you goals and put up assists and did all that. And so it was kind of an odd choice because he didn't seem like one of those vocal kind of leadership guys, kind of like Mason Morelli is. So that would be interesting to see with Taylor Ward. I don't know what kind of guy he is in the locker room, what kind of presence. So he could be right on Conley. It could be somebody else that we're not even thinking of right now.
Yeah, I think that'll be something the coaches have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Over summer workouts and the first few practices in the fall and stuff, they'll get an idea. I mean, they probably already have an idea of who at practice leads by example, who puts in the work, who exemplifies what we're trying to get out of our players.
Who's been focused on the process, who's been bought in all season long. So that it could be somebody that we're not even thinking about, but you
really need someone who models what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything you want to say about the end of this the season or the NCHC tournament that's coming up? Do you want to take a pick? Now that I guess we don't know the 4 teams that are in there, but we know
I know
3/4 of them.
Who do I think will win it?
Do you want to pick Colorado College just off the bat and see if
you want me to be bold and pick the series that's only one game done?
Yeah.
No, I'll pick St. Cloud to win the NCHC Frozen Face-Off.
Okay.
I mean, we know they're going to be in the tournament anyway, but they'll get the auto bid to the tournament too. So it'll be interesting to see if I'm wrong and if Duluth gets it done or Denver. Denver winning it would be kind of a surprise.
I'm taking Denver.
Well, of course you're taking Denver.
What? You're not surprised?
No, after 22 equisodes of throwing in Denver anecdotes, I'm not surprised at all.
It's the most hockey I've watched.
John
lived in a bubble, and the bubble included Denver.
John, quit dissing my old team.
Yes, I've gone out of my bubble, and now I am here.
I'm only teasing, but I'll stick with St. Cloud. Although before the season started, I did pick St. Cloud to win the NCHC regular season, and then I picked Duluth to win the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Now you picked.
That's right, because you picked the repeat. I picked Boston College.
Yeah.
So
wait, how are they? How are they doing in the Hockey East tournament? Are they? You never know if they get an auto bid and get in there.
I know they're really shocked.
Anything could happen.
I was on that bandwagon thinking everything I looked at. I thought, man, BC's going to be good. Much as I hate it, I'm more of a Boston fan than a Boston College fan, but I just really thought they're going to be good. And both of those teams are just terrible.
They've been really disappointing. And who knew UMass Amherst or UMass or whatever the hell they want to be called now. UMass Amherst, which is what I've called them because that's what we called them back when this hockey program started. So UMass Amherst has really done well.
Yeah, Hockey East this year. Done pretty good.
Yep, absolutely. So, but that was the thing before that first podcast. You had every Division I hockey team ranked.
Yes, I did.
That was awesome. I know.
I'm nuts. Yeah.
So why are we not doing an episode talking about the NCAA tournament?
I don't know.
I don't
we
know.
might have to
Well,
just to
we'll
break it out and see how close
we'll
I get.
see. But hey, unless you hear otherwise, this is the season finale
Unless you really-
of the map. I don't know. I just think this was a hard season, and like I said
Yeah.
before, we cannot have another season that gets off to. I mean, I'm not expecting perfection, but we can't have another season that gets off to a rough start like this one did.
No, next season I think goals for the program at least, I would say you really want to take strides. I think I've said this before in a podcast or something like uh, it's almost worse for us long term if we make some kind of crazy jump and end up winning like 24, 25 games or something like that next season. I'd prefer to be somewhere, I'd like to see us somewhere around 500 next season.
Yeah.
That shows progression in the program. And so then you've got some good recruits coming in the 2020s.
See,
and then,
you're right.
Hopefully that's kind of the steps that you make that you're, an NCAA contender in the 2021 season.
Right. That they show like significant improvement over
Right.
this year, but you're not because you could see one of those situations where it's like one of those fluky boom, we win 22 games out of nowhere, and then
Right.
it's
It's overperforming. When you see a
Right.
team make a jump from Lars where you get a single digit win season to a 20 win season, it's not the system, it's not anything sustainable. It's players that are overperforming.
right.
And what you end up risking is those players that are overperforming leaving early, and then your system's in a worse shape than it was before.
Especially if it's if you've got a guy in net like Isaiah Seville who's coming in as a
Right.
freshman next year. He's out of this world. He's a complete brick wall all season, and he's the reason, or a big part of the reason that UNO does well. Then it's like, does an NHL club decide to have him come in early?
Well, yeah, because everything I've seen expects him to get drafted probably third round. So
yeah,
if he does come in and have that, have a crazy good season, first year out of the
Right.
block, they're not gonna leave him here. If he has a good season here,
So-
they're whoever they are, they're
Yeah.
gonna put him in their system as soon as possible.
exactly. So Jason and I, we want them to do well. We don't want them to do too well.
I say,
We have no idea. There's
I
no
can't believe I'm
pleasing
rooting
us.
for a 500 season.
I don't know. You know what? I'll take a 24 win season next year, even if half the team wins, leaves the year after, because it'll be fun to talk about it on this podcast.
So, last podcast of the season, last of the new series, the Old Bowl, Future Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off my tongue nearly.
Yeah.
well.
See, Old Bowl, New Bowl has a ring, but
know.
Bridget said they're not. That's not the official hashtag she uses. So it's Future Bowl.
But I still don't. It doesn't. Okay, we're gonna.
We'll call it Old Bowl, New Bowl.
Or I keep calling them calves because that seems to piss some people off. And I
Well,
like
I don't
making
know.
people mad.
I think Kevin Neubauer has completely embraced it because he keeps, putting hashtag calf in honor of you. I know he's just doing that for you now.
I appreciate that. At least I got one guy on my side.
So who are we talking about today?
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
Because I'll start with the Old Bowl. I think,
Okay.
at least from some of the people that I've talked to, they were kind of surprised that we didn't start with this. And I would say that I didn't start with it because it was the low-hanging fruit. It seemed like the easy person to talk about, and I kind of wanted to talk about some of the guys that maybe everyone didn't know about. But being the end of the season, I'm going to wrap up with the guy that everyone's thinking we should talk about in Jake Gensel.
Yeah, and we're talking about him now, and I'm sure we'll be talking about him again because,
We could probably talk about him from here
oh my
until
gosh, it seems like
mid-June.
on the Mavpuck Facebook group, it's like, every couple days people are posting, stories or highlight clips of his exploits in the NHL.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic.
He's done well. I will say, unfiltered Jason here, he's an average, I'd say slightly above average regular season player who just has a knack for turning it on in the playoffs. His performance last year in the playoffs was
Yeah.
really good.
Yep.
The year before that was miles better. So I expect that here in the next few weeks as well, I think they've got 10 games. If I remember right, Pengs have 10 games left in their regular season. and then playoffs start, and that's when I'm really excited to see what Gensel can do. I'm not a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, so it's hard. I typically root for him to get a hat trick and for them to lose like 10-3 or something.
I know, and I know you're a big NHL guy. You're a big Avalanche fan, and we were actually talking about this because I don't really have a horse in the NHL race. We were talking about this when we were watching the game here at Jason's house on Friday, and
we were watching the St. Pats.
What were we?
We were watching the St. Pats.
Toronto. We were. Yeah. And they were wearing those special jerseys. Yeah,
their special March jerseys.
And Kevin Shreves, a mutual friend, was over and he asked me, he's like, John, who's your NHL team? And I'm like, do I have an NHL team? I really don't. I will tell you, speaking of the Avalanche, though, back in the day, Cox Cable, when they had, back when there was NHL on ESPN, and then I think we had Fox Sports. Was it Fox Sports Rocky Mountain? We might have had here.
Yeah,
in
there
Omaha?
was an FSRN.
I believe it was Fox Sports Rocky Mountain. We had the Avalanche were on all the time.
Right.
It was kind of like in the NFL watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings around here. That those are the AFC and NFC teams you get in pro football. We had the Avalanche on all the time, so I actually enjoyed watching them, and I followed them quite a bit back when they won the Stanley Cup with Chris Drury and it was Joe Sakic and those guys, right? Yeah, we had fun. Yeah,
Bridget Bork his cup.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ray Bork was the old man was on that team. So yeah, I remember that was a lot of fun. So that was probably the closest I came to kind of having a team because I'm a big Denver Broncos fan in the NFL. So
yeah.
So I was almost with your team, but in intervening years and
what really killed that for people that weren't around, I guess, is Fox Sports Rocky Mountain decided at one point that they would rather broadcast the Colorado Rockies regular season baseball game instead of a Colorado Avalanche playoff game because they were happening at the same time. And people went in uproar, and Stan Kroenke, who owned the Avalanche, was really, really upset about that. And so he basically just took his ball and went home and said, well, I'm going to just start my own media. I'm going to buy a media company, basically. And that created Altitude Sports.
Okay, so that became Altitude. So yeah, and I think we switched from Fox Sports Rocky Mountain to I think it was it Fox Sports Midwest that we have. See, I don't know.
So
I don't
have
have cable
the market
anymore.
Here lost it and then Cox and that wouldn't carry Altitude Sports, so you really couldn't watch Colorado Avalanche games out here at all.
And obviously
we were still blacked out on the NHL package, which always pissed me off when we moved out here.
ESPN gave up their NHL coverage, and so then it turned to
the old Versus. Remember the Versus?
Yeah, I remember Versus. Yep, yeah.
Which before that was like the Outdoor Sports.
Yeah, it was the Outdoor Sports channel or whatever. Yeah,
I think we called it the Obscure Sports.
And
channel,
I never had that extra whatever the package was. So that's just when I kind of lost.
Expensive tiers,
that's when I kind of lost track of the NHL. But I do believe I have a Colorado Avalanche like sweatshirt in storage somewhere and that kind of stuff. So see, I was almost with your team. But then they, coverage disappeared, and so then I just
come back. I mean, we've got Weiss.
I don't know. They're not as good as they were back when when I was following them. They won the Stanley Cup. That's what I've said this to people. I've joked before. I've said, if UNO would just win a national championship, I would go away. So UNO should have ample motivation to win a national championship in the future. But anyway, we were talking about Jake Gensel here, and we got on the Avalanche.
That's right. I think it's just, people should watch him, and if they get a chance to, head up a sports bar. Now you got NBC Sports.
He's fun. He's a great player.
NBC that picks up games and stuff. So there's plenty of chances. And Pittsburgh's a team that there's a lot of following and stuff on. So there'll be one that should be readily available for you as a fan to go watch Bull play in the NHL.
Jake's family is terrific. His dad, Mike Gensel, I know some of you are familiar with because he was an early Omaha Lancers head coach.
Right.
And he was an assistant here at UNO. He was a finalist for the UNO head coaching job in 1996 when they were hiring a new head coach. And then he was a finalist again in 2009.
And wasn't he was coaching here when Gensel was born? Because Gensel was born in Omaha.
Yep. So yeah, he was the Lancers head coach then. Yeah. And so He's a great guy. Bridget and I have gotten the chance to interview. I wish we'd have the chance to interview Mike
He can
Ginsel.
call in anytime.
He could, yeah. We'd
I'll
love to have
figure
him.
out the whole like call into the podcast thing for
Oh,
that.
okay.
For sure.
So if you're listening, Mike Ginsel, I know you follow us on Twitter. Consider calling into the show because we'll do a little technology upgrade here. But yeah, he is the nicest person. I remember when UNO was in the West or Midwest Regional in 2015. He and his wife and I believe one of Jake's brothers was there, and they're a great family. Absolutely. So yeah, he's a tremendous guy, and there's part of me that I wished that at some point along the way he'd become UNO's head coach because I like that history. I liked him. I just thought he was a great hockey mind.
Yeah.
And
who knows? Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. And I do have it's hard for me because I wish that Jake had been here. I mean, I understand going pro, but man, if he'd been here for his senior season, who knows Dean Blaze might still be our head coach. I mean, who knows? Who knows what would be going on right now?
At some point, we'll visit that alternate universe and see what happens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So who do you have for a future bowl?
I don't know. Who do we have for the future bowl? Is it the one we were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Miller of Sioux City. We are not quite sure if he's coming in 2019. We think that he is.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the source, but
yeah,
my expectation would be that he's at 19.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but we'll see.
He's playing for Sioux City right now. He was originally a Michigan State commit, and then they had a coaching change, and I think that changed that up.
Yeah, that kind of altered his opinion. But the reason we bring it up is because Sioux City's coming to Omaha on Friday, the 22nd, I think.
Okay.
Is what Friday is. To play the Lancers. So if you would like to get out and see Matt Miller play, he will be here. And you'll actually have a few future bowls on the ice at the same time.
Yes. Nolan Krenzen.
So yeah, Nolan Krenzen's the other kid that's on the Sioux City with him.
Yeah, and I don't think he's not coming, so you'll have a chance to watch him this season and next season. I don't think he's coming until 20...
I think Elite has him on 2021.
Oh, yeah. So they've got him a couple years out. Okay.
Yeah, Elite has him as a 2020, 2021 recruit. So.
Yeah, it's just always hard to know when guys... Right now we're kind of getting into that thing where we're getting a bunch of 16-year-olds, and they just turned 16. We're getting a number of commits, and you and I are always a little bit hesitant on those guys because we don't know if they're going to end up coming here or if...
a lot can change in a few years, and the other thing is you expect him to be a 2021 or something like that,
right.
But they have a good year in juniors or something, and the coaching staff may decide, hey, we'd rather have you here now, and
right.
They end up being a 1920 recruit or something.
Well, exactly. Like we mentioned, Matt Miller was originally committed to Michigan State. Right. Now he's coming here. Nolan Krenzen was originally committed to Clarkson University, and he's coming here now. And if I recall correctly, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think Joey Abate was originally committed to, it was either him or one of the other recruits was originally committed to Providence back in 2015, and now they're coming here. That might have been Ryan Bruchette, actually. Can't remember.
The point is that when we get far out there, just don't get your hopes up too much that they're actually the ones that come here. But that certainly at our point in time, the 1920s, 2021s are pretty good bets that you'll see them here.
And we look at those guys like Matt Miller, Nolan Sullivan, Joey Abate, Ryan Bruchette. There's another Brandon Scanlon, yeah. Alexander Roy. Those are kind of the big guys coming in next year, and those are the guys that we hope will make a difference on the roster next season.
Yeah.
And we just don't know, but Matt Miller's a fun one to watch, and I did a blog post on him, so you can find that in the news section on the Mavpuck website. And he just seems like he's going to be, we talk about leadership, he seems like a guy who can be a good leader into the future. He's had a lot of playing experience, a lot of playing time. And my understanding from Tim Wagner, a guy who listens to the podcast and follows us on Twitter and Facebook, that they were using him quite a bit on special teams. So the last time, or the time he was watching with Sioux City. So yeah.
So for fans out there that are looking for some hockey to watch or something, get out to the Lancers, go down to Ross Arena on Friday.
Yep.
And check out Sioux City and Omaha.
Yeah.
And watch for Miller's name out there. See.
Yeah.
So he does.
Watch Matt Miller.
Yeah, we might have to. Well, you might have to make a trip out.
Wait, is it this Friday?
This Friday.
Well, I'm not going to be in town this Friday.
Oh, well then neither of us are going to be there. All right, someone needs to tweet us updates because I've got a game. And
where are we going? Are we like? You got a game. Okay.
I've got a game. Yeah, we're playing in a tournament this weekend. So.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be up in the Frozen Face Off.
You're going up to Minnesota. Oh, that's right, because you won the tickets.
We won tickets. Yeah.
So you have to tweet me updates on that so I can follow that. And someone else is going to have to tweet me updates on... I wear my watch while I play, so I want to be able to read these things every time I go to the bench.
If one of our guys does something good, I usually quote tweet it and I'll say, future bowl. Not new bowl, but future bowl.
Yeah.
Whatever their name is. So, yes, you
can't use...
good. So, yeah, our player segment was... I don't know what we accomplished there with our old bull new / future bull segment there.
It's called color commentary.
Yeah, we hashed out the Colorado Avalanche game broadcasts here in Omaha and
history of random NHL
and the fact that neither of us remembered who the other Sioux City guy was, but yeah, we're doing
great.
Doing a bang up job this week.
All right.
Okay.
So, since we're so good at planning things out, we're gonna. And since the skate with the Mavs event didn't happen this year, they finally got their act together and scheduled it, and then our lovely weather decided to have a different idea on what would be fun. We didn't have that event that I know a lot of fans kind of look forward to every year. I know a lot of the young fans and stuff look forward to it because they get a chance to kind of skate with the guys. So
it's amazing to think there were seasons in the past where they would do like 2 skate with the Mavs during the season, and one was just the skate with the Mavs, and then there were a couple seasons when they did skate with the Mavs, a joint event with the Omaha Lancers organization. So that was kind of a neat deal because you got to go, the kids and fans got to go hang out with both.
Events like that are usually really good for recruiting. But that's probably why they have problems with them is how do you set it up so that you don't break some NCAA violation about campus visit or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think they had it like at
neutral site type of
thing.
Well, they had to because
I think they had it at Tranquility or something like that.
So our idea was to do a Mavpuck skate. Right?
Yeah, we wanted to do a Mavpuck skate.
But we're not sure people want to do this. So you're going to toss up, this podcast is coming out Monday morning.
Yeah.
You're going to toss up a poll on Twitter, right?
Right.
And fans can go to the Twitter page. They can go to Mavpuck on Twitter.
Yep.
And they can vote on whether or not we should do a Mavpuck skate.
Mavpuck skate. Like when there's an open skate going on at Baxter Arena.
At Baxter. Yeah, we'll just take one of the open skate times at Baxter and say this is the one we're going to go to, and Don and I will both be there. Are you going to put skates on?
No.
You should put skates on. Come on.
Maybe we'll have a poll about that, too.
Maybe we'll have a poll.
If the people want to have this, Mavpuck skate, maybe we'll do that. In the past, and that's kind of just to kind of add to this, in the past we had a Mavpuck game. So we had an annual Mavpuck hockey game. We're kind of new
fans versus fans. That could get dangerous.
It was fans versus fans. We kind of geared it was kind of geared towards people who were sort of new to hockey and had never really played hockey, to give kind of some new fans kind of a chance to do that. So it'd be a mixture of like the kind of rec hockey guys that you guys play with, along with some younger fans and some kind of, novice hockey players. So we had the annual Mavpuck hockey game. And then we had Krutov made the trophy for it, which was the Mavpuck Cup, which was actually like a cup, like a guy's cup. And so, I don't know. We're just, you both for the people listening, both of us were just distracted because I think like one of your daughters,
I think one of the kids
came and
outside.
Looked in the basement window to see what we were doing. So
they're spying on us.
But so anyway, we had the trophy was an athletic cup. Anyway, back on that. And so we did that. We had a Mavpuck golf outing for a couple years.
We should do a Mavpuck golf outing.
Well, yeah,
you should do a Mavpuck golf outing.
Thank you for.
I'll come and play.
Well, I know you'll come and play. You're the golfer. You know about this.
I'll play in the hockey game too if
somebody else organizes.
Too good or something. I don't know.
No, you'd be fine.
I'm not a beginner to hockey, that's for sure.
You'd be fine. You know, your daughter, at least, you know, your daughter Lexi could play in it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her and I have gone out. They used to have a father-daughter, parent-daughter skate thing and stuff on Fridays. That was always fun.
Yeah, casual thing like that. But yes, we'll try to do a Mavpuck skate for the fans. If you guys are interested. If people aren't interested, then you know we'll heed the will of the people. But I'm hoping you'll be interested. So
if you're interested in coming out to an open skate and meeting some of the other Mavpuck fans and Omaha fans and
sure,
Nom fans and what else have we been called this season?
Omaha, UNO, Nebraska,
Lincoln.
Omaha.
We're called Lincoln at one point.
We were.
That was pretty fun. So yeah, if you're a fan of those, go to Twitter.
We'll have
Tell
a
us
poll
if you're
up
interested,
in the morning.
And we'll start setting it up.
Exactly. So any final parting shots
to
the season?
To the season?
Yeah.
Thank God it's over.
I'm just telling you, you guys have no idea how hard it was for us to come up with stuff to talk about on a week-by-week basis, because after a while, you know, when a team's struggling, it's like, you know, you want to be positive.
Better, right?
Yeah. How many times can you say we need to play better? The guys need to buy in.
Yeah. Or, you know, it's just that, you know, we're fans. I think people may forget that, you know, when the team loses 2 in a row and gets, you know, onslaught and we're down too. So
yeah, it does. Seasons like this
we don't like to see the team lose and we like to see wins and we like to see good play and
absolutely.
We really root for the kids, you know.
Seasons like this are really hard, and I remember the season when they won 8 games, and the reason that I remember it was because, you know, fans were down, they were kind of at each other's throats. It was just a hard time, and you hope that things improve next year. Please God, let things improve next season. But you just never know what will happen, and that's the thing about sports. You know, the narrative you want is rarely the narrative you get. So it's that unpredictability that makes them intriguing, and regardless, we hope you enjoyed this podcast.
And we'll be back next season.
Oh yeah, we'll be back
because we're diehard fans. Hopefully, all of you stick with it and realize that, you know, down years happen, and you know there's better games on the horizon.
That's right. We've got a lot of good, fresh faces who I know are eager to prove themselves here next season, so that'll be exciting. We'll hopefully get better. We'll enjoy having a break this off season, definitely. And then I'm gonna wonder for months. I'm gonna be like, guys, Jason he's like gonna be. I don't know if I want to do this thing again next year or not, because I don't want it to snow every single Sunday from October through March. So it's beautiful today, but yeah.
Yeah, we're finally getting good weather because it's the last episode.
Exactly. The skies have opened. The sun has shined down. It's the, you know, season finale of the Mavpuckcast. But we may have some prizes. We're not having. There's no prizes for any of you.
There's no prizes. We fund this thing. No,
exactly. We fund this ourselves. You know, maybe if we have a Patreon someday or something like that, maybe there'll be some prizes, but not at the moment. But be sure to follow us on Mavpuck on Twitter, Mavpuck on Facebook, and sign up for an account on Mavpuck.com. I've been trying to get people to do that. It's a slow process, but it's
step by step.
It's working. And listen to the back episodes. You can relive the season by listening to the back episodes of the podcast. It'll be kind of fun. Someday, like 3 years from now, going back and listening to that, it'll be like, I wonder what we thought then, and we'll actually be able to know what we thought then. So
when the wound heals up.
Yes.
I'm not so sure I can afford the psychologist that I would need to relive.
I know. I think Jason and I are just like on fumes right now, so we're just like, just get this season over with, please. But yes, so
follow on Facebook, Twitter, Check out the website.
All those things,
get an
yeah.
account on the website
We'll have
so you can stay
updates, maybe
connected.
some surprises. Who
Yeah.
knows what Jason and I might decide to do in June or July.
And if we decide that, if the fans decide they want to do it and we're going to do this Mavpuck skate thing, then
yeah,
they're going to want to be connected. They're going to want to be following and stuff, so they get
the updates on when that happens and what the details are.
We'll all come through that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who knows?
Who knows?
You never know. We may come back for some surprise thing this summer because we missed doing this or something. It's possible.
You can't imagine that right now, can you? It's
a little difficult.
Anything is possible. UNO might get to the Frozen Four next year. We might do a podcast this summer. Which of those do you think is more likely to happen?
Vegas betting odds on both?
Yes, we can bring back the over-under segment that we did for an episode. Yeah. But I think there's a definite chance there may be some surprises this summer, so be sure to follow along. And we love the positive feedback that we got from folks this year. And I would say until next season, go Mavs.
Go Mavs.